Hi Bobcats, this is Miss Lee, and today's video lesson is on writing two-step equations. Please make sure as you're watching the video that you are taking good notes. Okay, let's go over some vocabulary. Well, first of all, let's talk about what a two-step equation is. An example of a two-step equation is 4x minus 2 equals 6. So we've been dealing with one-step equations like 3 plus y equals 5, where there's only one operation, and that's called a one-step equation. Okay. In this equation, 4x minus 2 equals 6, there are two different operations. There's multiplication, where you're multiplying 4 times 2, and then there's the subtraction, where you're subtracting 2. So this is a two-step equation, and so we need to be able to read a problem situation and write that two-step equation. We already know how to write the one-step, now let's go to two-step. So let's go over some terms that you're going to need to know, some good vocabulary. The first is the variable. The variable is the letter that represents an unknown number. In this case, it's an x. It can be any letter, right? Okay, then you have the coefficient. The coefficient is the number that you multiply the variable by. So if we look up here, here's our x, our variable. We're multiplying it by 4. 4 is the variable. Clue words that mean the coefficient, or that mean to multiply: per, each, every. Then you have the constant. Remember, the constant is just a number. Well, in our two-step equation, the constant is the number that happens only once. It only happens one time. It's not going to happen multiple times. It's either going to be added or subtracted in our equation. And then, of course, you have your total, or the equals amount. Okay, so these are very important terms to know. We're going to be identifying them from our word problems. Okay, first one. Billy has a gift card with a $150 balance. He buys video games that cost $35 each. After the purchases, his gift card balance is $45. Write an equation to find the number of video games that Billy bought. Okay, there's a lot of information in there, and you just kind of have to break it down. Okay, first thing you need to do, though, is to find the variable. It says write an equation to find the number of video games that Billy bought. That's what's unknown. Your variable is the unknown. A lot of times the problem will tell you which variable to use, which letter to use. In this case, it didn't. So you get to choose your own. Because we're talking about video games, I'm going to use a V. You can use whatever letter you want. So to find the variable, as you'll recall, we start off with let whatever variable that you're using, V, let V equal what? What is V going to stand for? What is it going to represent? The number of video games that he bought. So the number of video games bought. You have to write it out. There's no shortcut to this. What does the V represent? The number of video games that he bought. So, coming down here, coefficient times the variable, plus or minus the constant equals the total. I know the variable. I'm using a V, so I'm going to put a V for my variable. Now, do we know the total? Think about those total clue words. Something that he has what? He has a gift card with a $150 balance. He buys games that cost $35 each, and his balance is $45. This is your total. It's so tempting to put that $150 balance, but that's your beginning balance, isn't it? Okay, this is what he has. His balance after his purchases is $45. That's your total. Is for equals 45. Now come back over here. If V is the number of games that he bought, what is the coefficient? The coefficient is what you're multiplying by. So come up here, gift balance or gift card that has a $150 balance, or video games that cost $35 each. Which one would mean multiplication? The $35 each. So that 35 is your coefficient. Each game that he buys costs $35. Can that 35 happen more than one time? Sure, he's buying more than one game, right? What about the $150 balance? That's a beginning balance. That's a one-time beginning balance, isn't it? So it's a positive 150. And do you see the mistake that I made? The coefficient should be a negative 35, shouldn't it? Because when you buy a game, you're decreasing the balance. So it should be a negative 35, V, plus 150 equals 45. Okay, next example. A publisher ships a package of X number of books, so they're actually telling us what variable to use, each weighing 5 pounds. Each means what? Multiplication. Each weighing 5 pounds. Plus, oh, it's telling you plus a second package weighing 50 pounds, so plus 50 pounds. The total weight of both packages is 120 pounds. So the total weight is 120. What is that telling you? The total, right? Write an equation to determine X, the number of books that are being shipped. All right, so I'm going to do my total right away because it very clearly tells you the total is 120. So there we go. All right, define your variable. Let X equal what? The number of books. It tells us that very clearly. We didn't have to choose a variable. It chose it already for us. All right, so my variable is X. Where is my coefficient? Where is that clue word that means to multiply? Right here, each weighing 5 pounds. So what are we multiplying by? 5. That is your coefficient. And what is your constant? Plus 50 pounds. That's a one time. It says plus another package that is 50 pounds. It doesn't say plus multiple packages that are 50 pounds, does it? It's just a package that is 50. So that's a one-time amount, plus 50. So there's your equation. 5x plus 50 equals 120. Pause the video if you need to process all of this. When you're ready, move on to the next one. Okay, so here's this next one. Nathan has a gift card with a $75 balance. He buys several comic books that cost $5 each. After his purchases, the gift card has a balance of $50. Write an equation to find the number of comic books that Nathan bought. Okay, this one you do get to define the variable because it doesn't tell you the variable. So pause the video, go ahead and solve this, or not solve it, but write your equation, then come back and check to see how you did. Okay, did you get negative 5c plus 75 equals 50? If you did, great job. Did anybody get 5c plus 75 equals 50? That was the mistake that I had made on the previous problem. Because each comic book is $5, it would be a negative 5 because you're taking it out of your balance. So it should be negative 5c plus 75 equals 50. Okay, if needed, pause the video. Take a look at what we did, kind of process it, make sure you understand how to solve the problem, and then move on to the next one. Okay, Leon receives a birthday gift of $50 from his parents. Each week he saves $5 from his allowance. How many weeks will it take him to save $120? Okay, pause the video, go ahead to find your variable and write your two-step equation, come back and check your work. Okay, did you get 5w plus 50 equals 120? If you did, great job. Of course, your variable could change. It didn't tell us which variable to use, so I just used w to represent the number of weeks, but you could have used whichever variable you wanted to. All right, one more. Fact or fib. This time we're given a two-step equation of 6x plus 40 equals 130, and you need to identify if each one of these is a fact or a fib. Okay, let's see how you did. First of all, always look at the equation you're given. 6x plus 40 equals 130. This equals 130. This is the total amount that we should have in our situations. We're adding 40 and we're multiplying 6 times x, times our variable. Okay, so A, the local warehouse ships X number of boxes weighing 6 pounds each. Does this each mean to multiply by 6? Yes, it does. What are we multiplying by 6? X, the number of boxes. So this is correct. 6x is correct. One additional box weighing 40 pounds is also sent. So this 40 pounds additional means it's a positive, right? Is it a one-time Amount added, yes it is. So now we just need to figure out the total. The total weight being shipped is 130 pounds. That is true. So A would be a fact. B, Mary currently has 130 roses in her garden. Equals 130, that matches. 6 of the roses are white. She planted 40 red roses each week. This each means to multiply. So what are we supposed to be multiplying by? The 40, not the 6. So this one would be a fib. C, Barry receives $40 for good grades. Does it say that it happens more than one time? No, he just receives $40. That would be a plus 40, which matches up here. He begins to save $6 a week for mowing lawns. $6 a week. Could that happen multiple times? Sure, if he's saving more than 1 week, right? So 6 a week is the same as 6 times the week. Well, would that be 6x? Sure. How many weeks will it take him to save a total of 130? Is our total 130? Yes. So that means that C is also a fact. Okay, good job, Bobcats.